To the court now, the federal government witness in Nnamdi Kanu's trial has told the Federal High Court that the Amotekun Corps is different from the Eastern Security Network because it is registered and also established by legislation from the various state assemblies in the Southwest. The day's proceedings started with counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Paul Irokoro, explaining why the defense team could not file the videos they wanted to play in court on time. Mr. Irokoro explains that they had to edit the videos to remove parts of them that were not relevant to the case. Justice Omotosho says it will give 6 days for the prosecution to call all their witnesses, regardless of how many witnesses they have. 9 days will be given to the defense to present their case after the prosecution has closed theirs. The courts then adjourned until the 28th and May 28th and 29th and June.
All right, today is actually the 8th day of the 10th days ultimatum that was given to the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu. Now, we'll be actually going deep into the whole Nnamdi Kanu saga. You know, how the court has been holding Nnamdi Kanu despite the initial court ruling that was in his favor, where he was released and acquitted. You know, but we are in a system of a country where the judiciary actually does whatever they want according to the directives of the executive arm of government. Now, their instruction is coming from the presidency. That is one of the reasons that is keeping Nnamdi Kanu still in DSS custody. Malami and the rest of the former President Buhari's administration have a strong hand in the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, including the United Kingdom, the British, because the zoo is currently doing what the British want. So until these bad hands are removed from the soup, then the soup becomes better. Nigeria is not getting better anytime soon. That is why we keep on advocating for the freedom of Biafra. So the Nnamdi Kanu saga is something that has entered another dimension that the world has even put its interest in. Do not forget that the United Nations gave, an order to the federal government concerning Nnamdi Kanu release, and they failed to obey that order. Not once, not twice. And all of a sudden, the United Nations went low. So Ahmadi case ordeal is something that should make every Igbo man, every Biafra think twice about his stance with the zoo government. So as I'm talking to you now, there is a 10 days ultimatum to the federal government. It has gotten to that level. And I'm going to give you the full details before this news. Before we finish with this video, you'll be getting the full details on that ultimatum, and also everything that has happened, in Nnamdi Kanu's court hearing. They recap. So it will be a very strong and very broad information that needs to be discussed today. So you need to understand where we are currently in the case of Nnamdi Kanu and where we are going if time is not taken. It is going to get to the extent that a lot of things will go wrong if they don't do the needful concerning Nnamdi Kanu's immediate release, because we can't keep on being quiet about it. Why things are going, left. So today is the 8th day of that ultimatum, and before you finish this video, you will get all the information you need concerning this 8 days ultimatum. Then afterwards, Mazi Simon Ekpa's own is the next thing also. Forget about, these whole scenario that they are trying to claim or they are trying to bring, trying to create a faction between Mazi Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The reality is that we are all fighting for the freedom of our people. Forget about this faction. At the end, what do we do? At the end, are we able to achieve this? That is the big question. So let me leave you with this information and this news on the whole ordeal and the recap of everything and the ultimatum also on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's immediate release. If they don't, there are consequences for that also.
So please pay attention while I take you through the information. And I will have what I may call clarification on some certain issues at the very end of this very live broadcast. Just clarification. For clarification's sake, and for posterity to be a witness, and for all the genuine freedom lovers, those who truly want freedom, those who may have been, deceived or who are confused with the propagandas and lies which is being put out there. So I'm not going to dwell on it. I'll just say two words in clarification of what I did and what I intend, or what I intended did. So just pay attention, remain calm. Everybody should be calm. I am very, very calm. I am not shaking. Nothing can shake me in this, not a human being. The reason why I said I will tell you all this just in just few words, not words. I am not that man of, I am not a rabble rouser. So pay attention. Then after that, I will clarify a few things and then we move. So based on today's court update, I will give you the transcription of today's court update as it happened or as is happening. Update on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's ongoing court proceedings, of course, which commenced like 1 hour ago. The court actually started at 9 a.m. in the case between Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or should I say between Biafra and the federal government of the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, Nigeria. So the prosecution announces appearance as the defense announces the appearance too. Of course, the defense of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra, led by Barrister Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of Nigeria. Both parties affirm readiness for the business of the day, a cross-examination of prosecution's third witness. The third witness, in the person of PW3, shielded and known as Mr. Triple C, is being led in oath. Mr. Triple C, which is CCC, this is what you know about the zoo. They are not upright. I'm going to return us to the prayer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at a certain point in this very broadcast. I will return us to the prayer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which we started with. I will return you to a certain place where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, Biafra will come in truth and in every honesty. In truth and in every honesty. He said, Biafra will come in truth and in every honesty. Lies and deceit can never ever give us Biafra. Propaganda against fellow Biafrans will never ever give us Biafra. I'm telling you the truth. That is the reason why DOS failed, because they carried out lies, deceit, and propaganda against Mazi Simon Ekpa. lies, deceit, and propaganda against my Simon Ekpa. That is the only reason why, apart from them selling out the struggle, selling out Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, selling out ESN, which Chike Dozie told us how they handed over the ESN to Soludo and Eastern governors. So this is not a propaganda. Chike Dozie said it, that the governors came now. Is no longer the army, meaning that the army has been approaching them in order to give them the ESN so that they can recruit them into the army. So he said that the governors came now, not the army again. He said it, not me. So meaning that this one is not propaganda, because he said it. So apart from them doing all these things, the other thing that made them fail woefully is the lies and massive propaganda they carried out against Mazi Simon Ekpa. They failed completely. So I'm going to take us back to that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's prayer that he said, Biafra will come only in truth and honesty. Now, the zoo coming out with CCC as a name. Let us continue. Then Mr. CCC says he is a DSS operative for 27 years. Says he knows Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as the leader of IPOB. Now, my question for this Mr. Triple C, as the third, or should I say, yeah, the third DSS, official. Sorry. So, my simple question to him is, please, sorry for the video that was playing. I didn't see because I'm concentrating on, the transcription that I'm reading. So I didn't know that the video which I was playing, the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's video, has finished, and now a different video entirely started playing. So sorry for that while we continue. Now, this Mr. Triple C of the DSS / federal government of the zoo says he has been operative. He has been an operative of DSS for 27 good years, or should I say 27 worst years of his life. So if you have been a DSS officer for 27 years, are you not supposed to be the DSS DG? Haven't you gotten to a certain level to become the DSS DG, the Director General of DSS? Because I'm sure that this current Director General of the DSS, in the person of what's his name, by the way? What's that man's name? Ajayi. This man called Ajayi, the current Director General of DSS. I'm sure he has never been in the service for 27 years. Or the Arone. Oyeju has served for 27 years already. He's a young man, maybe his early 50s or mid 50s, which he might not also 27 years. He might not can go secondary school that time. So, this man, are you not ashamed of yourself for being in the DSS, service for 27 years? Yet they are folding your hair, your face. They are covering your face. The only son suri balo zoo, son suri balo Fulani, as probably a man from the south, maybe Igbo man to be precise. The only urufa furu balo after 27 years of service is to cover your face, change your name to Triple C, CCC, in order to testify forcefully against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Are you not ashamed of yourself? So if Abu Ulu Balo, this is the only Ulu Fulani Furo they can, benefit from you. After 27 years of service. Because I'm sure if you're a top ranking officer of DSS, you will never stoop so low, shedding your identity, your face, and everything to testify against Machineke. You can't. A top DSS officer can never be that low. Never. Supposed to be in the office controlling things, commanding and instructing. Unbelievable. This is how Fulani has rendered Igbo useless. In fact, I watched a video from a man called Ojo Zokalo vomiting rubbish from the gutter that he has on his face called mouth. He said that people are suffering under Tinubu is because they are lazy. Ojo Zokalo opened his stinking mouth. Onu na-esi isi wee kwuo inyo, kọọ inyo n'ọnụ, only for him to be able to continue to serve the zoo, the Fulani. Only for him to remain a puppet. He has to. Oh my goodness, and according the code. What is wrong with this OG? African people, what is wrong with us? Oh my God. Now let me continue. PW3 CCC says he knew Mazi Nnamdi Kanu since 2015. Okay. Now, prosecution. Can you please tell the court who you are and if you know the defendant? Witness, I work with the SSS, which is DSS. I've worked for 27 years. I know the defendant. He's the leader and founder of IPOB, a terrorist organization. A terrorist organization. He founded Radio Biafra. He used to invite violence to the public. Imagine. After 27 years of service, this is what you are being called to come and testify. So all the no call we could see you tranis we na Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nga. Or the Kobotis we no call ikusia immediately. Ama Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nga otu also. Without delay. Yangi immediately. No, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work like that. So all the rubbish you say, you must provide evidence. Oh yes, that is how it's been done. You have to provide evidence to defend your claim. Now, after Kokotalinya, let us pay attention, please. The Oluku continued. He said he knows Mazi Nnamdi Kanu since 2015. He is the founder. A terrorist organization, according to him, only if he knows the meaning of IPOB. Only if he understands that IPOB means the indigenous people of Biafra. Meaning that any human being from Biafra nation is an IPOB, including the so-called political elites who are from Igbo extraction are also IPOB members. Onanegente umuchineke. So that means, in other words, this man has categorically categorized all of us as in the terrorists, ndị na-egbu mmadụ. As in the na-egbu mmadụ. And some idiots from the same Biafra will be happy with it. Some idiots who do not support our freedom, who do not support Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ndị kpọrọ Mazi Nnamdi Kanu asị, they will support it, not knowing that na akpọgofa ndị na-egbu mmadụ. He said, my first encounter with him was in 2015 when I was asked to interrogate him after his arrest. How many people interrogated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the first place? the first person said he interrogated him. The second person said he interrogated him. Now, this third person, CCC, Mr. CCC, also said he interrogated him. So, how many people have interrogated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Now, he said, I invited him with 3 other officers for interview. I told him his interview was going to be recorded, and he agreed. He agreed to be recorded and also wrote down a statement himself. The interview was conducted on October 21st, and written interview was on 23rd October, both in 2015. So this interview and interrogation, this interview / interrogation, were they conducted in the presence of his defense team or his legal representatives? Were they there when this interrogation / interview was conducted? Because if they are not there, so it's against the law. The same way you took him to court in 2021 after his rendition without the presence of his legal team, it's against the law. Now, let us continue. He agreed to be recorded and also wrote down a statement himself. The interview was conducted on October 21st, and written interview was on 23rd October, both in 2015. The prosecution present the video interview and written statement of the defendant to the witness for identification. The witness has confirmed both. Prosecution, you also told the court the defendant made written statement, right? This is now the prosecution, the DSS and the Nigeria legal representative in the person of Awomolo. So the witness said, yes, my lord. The prosecution, Awomolo, takes permission to show the defendant the written statement obtained in 2015. Witness statement, written statement is shown to the defendant, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself. Defense counsel interjected. My client says My client says the said written statement under duress. Yes. The said written statement was written under duress. Of course, because number one, the defendant's legal team was not there. Nobody represented him. So you were to the mother when you see force Sawyer to say yes on whatever you want to, in order to fulfill your hidden agenda. You were to the mother when you see, because nobody is there. Everybody not there, they're against him. I know to go to some group of people gather where Jiri Biafra United nodo. Na atụ asị nne ji wee mụfa ndị amụrụ na asị wee ji asị zụọ fa. Some of them say na mo constitute through whatever that fought them. And atụ asị n'isi m anọkwanụ there. Who will be there to defend the poor boy? I wasn't there. So they can lie as long as they want. It's very obvious they are not fighting for Biafra. Anybody who gather, any group of people that gather to lie against me, is not fighting for Biafra. It's very simple as that. So when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was held there, interrogated in the name of interview, without anybody to speak for him, he's under duress. Anything occurred there on under duress. Yes, on under duress. So now, judge to defense. You mean the 3 statements were made under duress? Judge, can you prove it? Otherwise, I'm going to order trial within trial. You have to prove it in specific that your client made the statement involuntarily under duress. Subsequently, the judge has asked the defendant to give element of his involuntary Subsequently, the judge has asked the defendant to give element of his involuntariness to the written statement, asked that the defendant be given a sheet of paper to write them down. Paul Erokoro-san read the defendant's involuntariness statement. I asked for my lawyer and the DSS refused. This is very, very important. I asked my lawyer, Nnamdi Kanu now. He's speaking. Nnamdi Kanu speaking now on that written statement, the one that he wrote with his own heart. He said, I asked for my lawyer and the DSS refused. So now, if the judge is honorable, he wouldn't argue it because we have evidence of Nnamdi Kanu in 2021 being brought to court without the notification of his legal team. I wish that this message will get to the judge. Nnamdi Kanu was brought to court. Nnamdi Kanu was brought to court on the in June, 28th of June, 2021. 28th of June, 2021, after he was renditioned on the 27th. Then, without his legal team. So that is a pure evidence of what Nnamdi Kanu is saying here. Pure evidence. He said, I asked for my lawyer and the DSS refused. It wasn't the gentleman in the dock that interviewed me. It was, oh my goodness me. Wow. So you think Fache now dari beribe. Fache na Nnamdi Kanu dari beribe. It wasn't the gentleman in the dock that interviewed me. Nnamdi Kanu told the judge, number one, I asked for my lawyer, but the DSS refused. In a written statement that Nnamdi Kanu now submitted to the judge. Now, DSS did not only refuse of his lawyer being present before the interrogation, the interview, and the statement. Nnamdi Kanu also told the entire world that this man in the dock who is lying, or first of all, serving the DSS for 27 years, how old are you? What is your position in the DSS? You can't serve the service for 27 good years. The only thing you remember be back twice, okuga. Like seriously. So now he said, Nnamdi Kanu, the man in the dock, the so-called witness, is not the one who interviewed me. It was one Mr. Brown. Nnamdi Kanu did not forget, even though it happened in 2015. It was one Mr. Brown. I was in the dungeon and was allowed 1 hour of airtime. But Mr. Brown threatened that if I did not write down what they wanted, the 1 hour airtime will to be taken away from me. This was written statement of Nnamdi Kanu. I was forced by the DSS agent to write down some words against my will, and I was bleeding from the nose at that time. George, can you argue it? They brought him to the court blindfolded. They covered him. They covered his head they maxed him in 2021. On the 28th of June 2021, Nnamdi Kanu was brought to court without the legal representation. So this one is already, you know, on agba. If you need your go. Now, the judge, what do you mean? What do you have to say about the said involuntariness? The judge is asking the prosecution, Awomolo. Prosecution, he was not beaten to make this statement. Were you there? Awomolo, were you there? First of all, you were not the first zoo, zoo and DSS, a lawyer. You are the third lawyer. You are the third lawyer, not the first, not the second. You are the third. So you were not there. You were not in the picture. So how did you know that he was not beaten to make the statement, the illegal statement that was forced by the DSS? So how did you know? You were not there. Now, Mr. Triple C said, yes, my lord. Now, judge orders trial within trial to determine whether or not the statement made by the defendant was not under duress. You know, it's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched. The truth of the matter is that he was brought to court blindfolded without his legal, representatives being there live to represent him. And this thing happened in the court. Now, if he was brought to court blindfolded like a common criminal without any legal representation, why they know that the same case that made them kidnapped him in Kenya and renditioned him to the zoo is already being represented by some group of, attorneys. So how comes will you bring him to court without his attorney being there present? So the case is very simple. I hope maybe Barrister Law is listening. It's very simple. It's very simple. The video is there when Nnamdi Kanu was brought to court blindfolded. So if he could be brought to court in 21st century, somebody was brought to court blindfolded like a common criminal without any legal representation, how comes how comes do you think DSS will allow the same DSS that brought him to court, lawless DSS that brought him to court without the representation of his legal team, is the same DSS that interrogated him and he asked for his lawyer? How do you think they will say they will allow him? This is an open thing. It takes only common sense to rule. Only common sense to rule. Now, N/B, a trial within trial, is a legal procedure used in criminal trials, particularly in jurisdictions like Nigeria, where a confessional statement, a statement made by the accused admitting to a crime, is tendered as evidence, is essentially a mini trial within the main trial, designed